I'm so sorry it took me this long to post this. So last year I did a cover video of the song Roygbiv by Boards of Canada. If you have never heard Roygbiv and you have no idea who Boards of Canada is, do yourself a favor, pause this video, take the next hour of your life out to hear the album Music Has the Right to Children, and then go and watch my cover video, and then come back here and you'll basically be up to date. I did this cover merely for fun, not thinking it was going to go anywhere. Instead, the exact opposite happened. It not only blew up, it hit 10,000 views last month. And it's to a point where it scares me, because I knew the one question that people were going to ask: can you share the patches? And that's exactly what people commented to me. This has been asked so much that I honestly feel guilty that it took me this long to finally get this out. So for today, I'm gonna share the lead patch. I know everyone wants that bass patch. That's coming. But surprisingly, a lot of people wanted the lead patches. So here we go. So the first thing we want to do, as always, is hit Shift 3 to initialize our patch. We're going to hit Voice, leave it on Synth, leave it on a single layer, and our voice assign, the only thing we're going to change is to take it from poly and go monophonic. In our pitch, we're going to mainly keep everything the same, except in our portamento, we're going to bring that up to 5. What that's going to do is simply glide between every note. In our oscillator 1, we're going to set our oscillator to square. You can already hear that glide happening already. On these two controls, we're going to use a little bit of pulse width and set this all the way up to 94. And this is really more for taste. And then this actually gives us the pulse width modulation. In our second oscillator, we're going to set oscillator 2 to square. We're not going to use any oscillator mods on this. The only thing we're going to do is shift the pitch of the second oscillator up an octave. And then in our mixer, we're going to turn up the second oscillator to about 60. In our filter, we're going to set it to 24 dB low pass. Set our cutoff all the way down to 24. Our resonance, we can dial back to 18. Our filter EG int here, we're going to set that up only to about 17. And then key tracking, you can play around with this, but I set mine the whole way up to 63. So you can hear the filter opening up as you get towards higher notes and the filter closing as you go lower. Over in our filter EG, we've got an attack of 7. Our decay will set up to 104, which we're not going to really hear the effect of that unless we take our sustain down to about 20. So you can hear that already. The filter is closing down slowly. I did a little jazz thing there. I did not mean to do that. And then our release, we're going to set to 5. Attack, we're going to set to 1. And I usually do that anyway because I notice just the tiniest click when it's at 0. 1 just helps to diminish the click a little bit. It's just something I tend to notice. Decay we can keep 64, sustain is at 127, our release is going to be at 7. So, and then in our LFOs, our first LFO is going to be set on triangle. This is actually where our pulse width modulation on that square wave in oscillator 1 is happening. No tempo sync, we're just going to get our triangle up to around 37. Then oscillator 2, little trick that I enjoy doing is using a sample hold function and having this at around 55. And all this is going to do is we're going to apply this to the pitch, and that basically gives it a little bit of pitch warble. That's up to taste really, but it's something I enjoy doing. On patch 1, this is where we're going to apply that LFO2 to our pitch. So set our source to LFO2, our destination to pitch, and we're only going to go up to 7. If we did any further, like 35, you would get these random values going on, which can be really cool. I've done that before, but at 7, just slightly doing it. If you want to dial that back at all, that's up to you. So really, this is the bulk of the patch, really. So if I play that lead, you know, that's basically what I was using in my cover. If you put some reverb onto that or a little bit of delay post-processing, if you want to add delay in the Microkorg, that's up to you. But this is really what the patch is. This is future Ian here. So in the midst of editing for the last 7 hours between last night and tonight, I realized that I did not do the best job with this tutorial as I would have hoped. Essentially, I filmed nearly 10 minutes of material. Honestly, so much of it did not need to be said, and I had to cut it down from 10 minutes to 4.5 or so minutes. If you had any trouble following along, I apologize for that. And if you were able to fully understand everything that I said and was able to follow it step by step through all my ramblings, congratulations, kudos to you. Just started. If you did have trouble, there's a brilliant website called Synth. It's basically a free open source library of user contributed synth sounds from all around the world. For me, it's basically the best resource I've seen, where not only are the settings laid out organizationally well, but you can also freely download the patch if you are tech savvy enough to know how to transfer it to your Microkorg over MIDI. That link to this patch that you just saw is in the description. If you happen to find this video to be helpful in any way or happen to like the sound, feel free to hit the like button. If you want to see more videos of this, subscribe anyway. Go and hit that button. And comment below where you're using this patch if you're using it in any of your music. I'd love to hear it. Feel free to send it my way. My name's Ian Felpel, and I'll see you in the next video.